Hi, I'm Vanessa, and thank you for tuning into How to Pottery and Crafts. Today I'm going to talk about these garden markers, how I made them, what I used to make them, and how you can make them too. The stuff that I used, you can easily be found online and for just pennies a piece. And these may be good sellers. They may be. I used just junk glaze that I had left over to glaze these with, just to kind of try them out and see if I liked them. But I mean, you could certainly just get crazy with the glaze and do whatever you wanted to. So I'm going to show you just quickly how to make these. It's not going to be a real long video because there's not that much to do. All right, enjoy. I'm going to dub over this because, as you could hear, we're in the middle of a really big rainstorm and it's just deafening inside the studio. So once you roll out your clay, lay your guides down on it. I got these from Temu for just a few bucks. They're really cool, except they're super thin, so they wouldn't last very long. So I decided to make plant markers. Make sure that you put the letters facing up. You do not want these mirrored. Once they're on the clay, you're going to need to spray them. I used just the really cheap cooking spray from Aldi, but you can use any sort of cheap cooking spray. And don't worry, the oil burns out in the kiln. It doesn't discolor anything. It's fine. Once you press them in the clay, you're going to gently pop them up. Now, I say gently because the oil makes a suction on there, and if you try to just jerk them up out of there, you're going to mess up the letters. So be precise when you pull them up. Take your time. This is really the longest part of it. So once you remove all of those, you'll be able to see the final product, and it's going to look good. Now we're going to move our slab over to a wearboard, which is just a flat piece of wood. We're going to cut these out. I like the way it looks when I do it by hand, but if you need a really precise straight edge for some reason, let it sit for about 2 hours and then get a ruler. I like the rustic look. Some people don't. Just, if you don't have a steady hand, your hand shakes, you might consider that. Now, when you're removing the excess, make sure you cut your lines so you move this in strips. You've got to be careful or you're going to mess up your markers, and clay has a memory. So if you're high firing these, they may come out twisted in the end. So be kind of slow and precise on this part as well. Once you have everything cut out, you're going to need to weight them down. I use socks filled with fish tank gravel. I do not like the sand. It filters through. I don't like the kitty litter because it's too humid where I live. There's, people use salt and all sorts of stuff. I think that just plain old pea gravel or fish tank gravel is fine. It's 74 degrees, which is pretty good after it being 17 last night in East Texas. Oh, it's heavy. We have got our garden markers that came out great. Now it's time to glaze. I'm just using some old Wonder Gems I have laying around. I'm going to put 3 coats, and then I'm going to take my sponge and I'm going to remove the glaze, or as much of it as I can, from the lettering. This is going to make it pop so you can read it. If you don't do that, it's just going to kind of look like a muddied mess. So it's really important that you remove the glaze from the lettering. You can use any kind of glaze you want. You can, depending on what kind of clay you're using. This is clay that you could high fire, so I could actually high fire this underglaze if I wanted to. Okay, let's see how our wind chimes did. We're at 120 degrees. It's about 48 outside. Oh, very nice. This was just a partial kiln load. They turned out cute. All right, let's get started. So I got these. This is what I used. I got these from Temu, and I'm not going to put a link. It's too hard to do affiliate programs with them, but you can find them really easy, really easy. Just type in wooden plant markers. These, the only thing that they offer right now are going to be like the herbs. They don't have the tomato and vegetable, but this stuff is such thin, let me see if I can zoom in, such thin balsa wood that if you know somebody with a one of those laser cutter things, yeah, you could just make your own, which I may try that a little later. But you can see the clay I used, I'm not really happy with it. There's not much shrinkage on it though, which is a really good thing. But this is a high fire clay that I get from Hobby Lobby. And it's cheap, it's 20 bucks. It breaks very easily, unlike regular low fire clay does. It's actually stronger than this stuff. So I would suggest to firing it all the way up if you want to use these long term, or if you want to sell them, I would go ahead and go all the way up. And then you're going to get a little more shrinkage, of course. And then this is just matte colored. And you got your glossies. So, I hope that helped. These are amazing, and happy gardening.
I spin my wheel in the moonlight, throwing pots that dream and delight. Ceramicist by day, potter by night, dual identity taking flight. Making mugs, then switch to tiles. Got 2 hats and 1,000 styles. With a kiln I'm running wild, Potteramicist all the while. Hands in clay, life is grand. One makes tea.